Hi, good afternoon everyone. Brooke here, also known as Aurora Elliptica. Today I want to talk to you about something that I think a lot of people would appreciate. Today I want to talk to you about depression, social anxiety, the void, and self-love. And I believe that a lot of people are struggling with those things since the economy is so shitty and finding work is a challenge. Finding a job that you actually like is a challenge. So let me get started. I could start with depression. From my last video talking about my background, I did go through a lot of depression in my life. People will probably think like, well, what's a girl like you who lives in the middle-class suburbs know anything about depression? Just the same way as there are more rich people killing themselves than poor people. That's what it is. Depression affects everybody, whether you're rich, you're poor, you're lonely, you have a lot of friends. It doesn't matter. It affects everybody, and it's a very, very serious thing. People never really took depression seriously. When I started to notice my depression around the time I was 13 years old, when I started to awaken to see how shitty the world was, through school and other sources, I was not a big fan of school. You know, I was just very, very nonconformist. I met a lot of great people in school. I met a lot of great people throughout my life, but I also met a lot of horrible people. But depression affects everybody, and my depression started happening when I was very young. I didn't really know what it was, but when my soul started to be in pain, when I was hitting my early teens, like going through puberty and stuff, and boys and all, because I wasn't a really big person on boys, like video games and stuff, but a whole bunch of shit happens and your heart gets broken or you get taken advantage of, and a whole bunch of different things lead to depression. I don't want to get too much into my personal business, but I will say this, that doesn't matter if you're a female or if you're a man or if you're a boy or a girl, depression affects everybody, and it is no joke. Some people say, well, you know, if you got depression, why don't you just say fuck it and just move on with your life? And I'm like, I wish it were that simple. If I could just say, screw this, depression is, some people handle it differently. My family used to have the get over it mentality, get over it and move on. And it's like, you can continue to go to work, you can continue to, like, I didn't stop my art, I didn't stop my business because of depression, but it still hurts. No one's handling it effectively, the proper way to handle depression. The best way to handle depression is get to the source. People be like, well, just get over it. You know, you get your heart broken a few times, you fail at something, you get humiliated, you're like, you know, just get over it. Like, you know, get over it. We're in a get over society. I think that's so dismissive. Like, just get over it. Like, because a person that would tell you something like that when you've gone through over 10 years of depression and just get over it, is not a person that is your friend and really cares about you. And not even a family member. If a family member has the nerve to tell you to get over it after you went through X, Y, and Z, then that's not a real person. A person that really cares about you would say, well, let's talk about it. Let's get you some help. Let's see what we can do to work it out. Because depression is not just fuck it and move on type of thing. It's an ongoing thing. Depression just don't happen just like that. Like, oh, I'm depressed. It happens gradually over time where you have things, traumatic experiences happen to you that keep piling up and piling up and piling up because you keep working. Oh, move forward. I got work. I got an art project. I have to do this. I got to go to school, this and that. It keeps piling up and to the point where it's like that's why I compare souls to stars in the sky. When you have so many bottled up feelings, you eventually explode. And then you know how you see a really quiet person that you don't hear them talk for many years, and then one day they're just shooting up people in school, or they just went crazy, like, oh, I didn't even know that person was like that. Because it's the progression of depression. That rhymes. It's the buildup of depression. That's the problem. People do not take it seriously. I would suggest if you have depression, get some help. I don't care if your family, trust me, I have my family tell me, don't get a therapist, people think you're crazy. Get help. Get help. It helps. When I went to therapy, it helped me out so much. More than people in my family have helped me out. Because a lot of people in my family are dismissive. A lot of them. And it's sad. Because no young girl, young boy should have people should be in your corner like, what's bothering you? Let's get to the root of the problem. Depression is a very tricky thing, and it can be cured. It can be healed. It's not. Don't listen to these fucking doctors like, oh, it's never gonna stop. It's like, you can heal your depression if you work on it the correct way. You get to the root of the problem. When did this depression start happening? Here's an example. Well, the depression started happening when this is from my personal experience, but my parents kept judging me on everything I've done and kept criticizing me. That's where it started. Because when you're a child, you try to get your child to do the right thing, but you don't criticize and make fun of them for every fucking thing they do when they're trying to learn how to do something. Like, I'm trying to learn how to cook. And it's funny because I can't really cook too well, but I try to learn new things, and people would not give me a chance. They're just like, oh, you're just going to burn up the house. Like, that is funny, but it's not funny on some levels, because sometimes people want to learn different things, but people don't have the ability. They get their abilities cut in half because people just fucking criticize them and judge them all the time. Then people are like, boy, you gotta say fuck people. I'm at that point now, but it takes a long time to get to that point. Some people just don't have that fuck people mentality. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. Words hurt. People are like, oh, yeah, I'm not bothered by this and that, you know. I'm hardcore. But words fucking hurt. Everybody on this fucking planet has insecurities. I don't give a fuck if you're Kanye West with his ego and all that shit, or I don't care who you are. Everybody has insecurities. Everyone has inner turmoil that they need to work out. I'm not saying everyone's sad and depressed. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying like, oh, everyone is everyone needs to be studied. I'm not saying that. There are some people out there that are happy and did not have to go through some of the things that a lot of people with depression had to go through. I'm just saying, don't fucking listen to anybody. Get some fucking help. Get someone to talk to. I know what it's like to be in a place where you have absolutely no one to talk to because you're in so much pain. The only thing I have to talk to is my pencil and paper, my paper with my pencil. Sometimes it's like that. Sometimes a song or a video game will help snap me out of it. Get help. Social anxiety. Social anxiety is not a joke. I have social anxiety. Sometimes when I'm in a place with too many people that I'm not familiar with, I'm not talking about if I'm on stage like presenting my art or doing something that is, I'm comfortable with myself. I'm talking about just like, let's say being in New York in a clothing store where there's like hundreds of people running around. That can trigger an anxiety attack for me. It's just too many people running around. I don't know what it is with me. I don't like being around too many people at once unless I'm advertising myself or talking about my art or something. Unless it's for business, because that's the beauty of it. Unless it's for business, I don't like it. That's crazy, right? I can do it for business, but I can't do it for pleasure. I can't pleasurably just be around like thousands of people running around. I have no significance. I don't feel important. I feel just a bunch of screaming people, too many energies, too much going back and forth and stuff. I can't deal with it. Like, but you have to get through that. You have to get help. Like, you can't just say, well, fuck it. I don't like nobody, so I'm going to stay in my room. Human beings need social contact. That's why social media is kind of okay, but it's not enough. Because I could talk to thousands of people on Facebook if I want to, but having an interaction with someone when you're talking to them in person is way more effective. Even videos are more effective. You got to see someone and connect with somebody. So social anxiety, I'm sorry, I'm just checking the time to make sure that I stay on track. Social anxiety is basically when you get panic attacks from, like, I get panic attacks sometimes, not panic attacks, but just my heart starts racing when I used to take the bus. I'm so thankful to have a car now. When I used to take the bus, I used to get, my heart started pounding. I hated being on the bus. I actually had a panic attack on the bus one time. I had to go to the hospital. I just hate being around, even walking. I hate being in public. I'm not saying I feel like a celebrity, like I'm too good for it. No, sometimes I just hate walking around in public because I hate people looking at me. Like, in my head, I'd be like, oh my God, look at her, she's so ugly, and all these voices come in my head, like paranoia. Yeah, I got it. Social anxiety. I know, I got it. I'm working on it though. I'm really working on it. I'm trying to, because when it's just trauma. Like when you think back to your experiences in school, people will just look at you like funny. I'm 24 years old, and sometimes it still happens. Yeah, it's like sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do and get help. But I'm getting better. I'm starting to be like, I can be in public. I can be in public and not be afraid of what people have to think about me. Like people like, she's weird, she's tall, she's this and that. Like, you know, I've learned to say, hey, you know what? I can't handle all the voices anymore. Like I have to just say, I'm a human being, and I really don't care what people think. And I actually, for once, got to that point in my life where it's like, I'm Aurora Elliptica, damn it. Like, I'm a human being, and I have feelings, and why does this negative energy have to affect me? The void. The void is also another thing. Like, if a lot of emotional baggage goes, if you don't tend to it, and it builds up, you create a void within yourself, which is kind of like a black hole or a vortex. The vortex starts sucking energy in because you're so deprived of so many things, like of love, that you turn yourself into a vortex. So have you ever seen people that have no self-love, that love to see other people in pain and miserable? Those people have formed a vortex that they did not take the time to solve the issue with love. Love solves everything. You can't have